So in 3 weeks' time, we have East versus West 18, Chicago, Levan Saginashvili, Ermes Gasparini, and for the first time in a very long time, we might actually witness a loss from Levan Saginashvili. So in this video, I wanted to go over the most important arm wrestling lifts, including the elephant in the room, and that's the bicep curl from Levan Saginashvili. But most importantly, I wanted to take a look at the pronation lifts, and of course, the Ermes Gasparini world record back pressure lift, because honestly, there's a lot of controversy behind this and it's something we need to bring up. The second thing I wanted to touch on was the records of these guys, the opponents they face, because they have faced some very strong competitors and it's worth noting. Third, I also wanted to talk about why I truly believe that Ermes Gasparini has a legitimate chance at dethroning Levan Saginashvili. And to finish off the video, I'm gonna be giving you guys my personal opinion on who I believe is going to win this matchup. So let's get it. Let's just talk about the elephant in the room here, and that is the world record bicep curl that Levan Saginashvili has recently done. Let's hit play and talk about it, because this is something here. So Levan Saginashvili, 180 kilograms, 396 pounds, crazy. This lift has had so much controversy behind it. It's yeah, this is a crazy amount of weight, and it's up. Boom. All right, so pause. You can see here, he's starting to lean back. Look at this. This is, you're fully leaned back. He comes to a point where he's literally arched pretty much like 45 degrees, and his wrists are like trying to push it. Everything's trying to be pushed. Now, first, obviously, it's a world record. This is a crazy amount of weight. But when you're looking at a proper bicep curl, let's just get to it. That's not a bicep curl. I recently was doing some heavy preacher curls at the gym, and I found myself swinging, and then, you know, when I got home and I started to think about it, I'm like, meh, doesn't really count. This is not swinging. This is something else. So 396 pounds. But you know what's funny? Let's take a little trip down memory lane and look here. So Levan, this was 2023, so 2 years ago, so May 2nd, 2023, 365, watch this. So you could see right here, it's the exact same thing. Obviously, he doesn't look like he has a belt on, but 365 pounds, obviously not a world record, but he's doing 3 of them, and he's swinging for the bleachers. Here we go again. Ooh. Okay, look at this. Look how much he's leaned back. You don't see it on camera. There's no chance in hell I even pick up 365 pounds and just have it held like this. My biceps would rip off. So in all respect, the weight's crazy. That is amazing. But when you're looking at strict bicep power, 365 for 3, tell me what a 1 rep max would be. And I'm pretty sure I did this on a strength calculator, and it was something like 390, 387 would have been like technically a 1 rep max. Let's hit play. Yeah. You can't tell me, now the bicep is not a big muscle to start with, but you can't tell me from a bicep curl point of view that Levan has leveled up from 2 years ago. He's obviously a much greater arm wrestler, he's a lot stronger, but you're telling me that a 1 rep max of, let's just call it 400 from now versus 365 from 3 years ago is a very big difference. You can't tell me that it's a world of a difference. 365 pounds for 3, it's pretty close to 400 pounds. Let's talk about the bicep curls of Levan versus Ermes, and this is from a hammer, well, from a dumbbell hammer standpoint. Because we just spoke about Levan, let's start off with Ermes. So this is Ermes doing 60 kilograms for 20 reps. All right, we got it here. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You guys get the point. He does 20 reps, but let's just stop it here. So look how Ermes Gasparini's arm is positioned. It's not vertical. It looks vertical because of the angle, but it's not perfectly perpendicular to the ground, which is, you know, it's fine, you're cool. But there's a lot of swinging going on. It doesn't look like it. It says that's quality, my friend. It's way more than I can curl, but I'm gonna be a little bit of a hater here. It's not clean. It's definitely not clean. There's a lot of swinging. And also, from this angle, it's a lot easier to swing up the weight just based off the angle of your body and holding the weights. Look, 60 kg for 20 reps is it's honestly just insane. You guys get the point. It's a lot of reps, it's a lot of weight, and I don't consider it clean, but let's go to Levan's. So now Levan is doing, this was posted, let's see when this was. This would have been April 29th, so it was fairly recent. He does 56.7 kg, so 125 pounds for 10 reps. Watch this. 1, 2, stop it here. Here we go. Yeah, you guys get the point. Out of these both lifts, and obviously you can't compare them directly because they're different lifts, but I'm not gonna lie, Levan's lift looks a little bit cleaner here. Not as much swinging, but still something to definitely take notice of. So let's take a look at Ermes Gasparini's Pronation lift, because this is crazy. Keep in mind, this lift would have been 2023, so 2 years ago. I'm showing this now because I can't find any footage of Ermes Gasparini doing this lift anytime recently. Gets it off the ground, doing the lift fairly well, but look, I'm not gonna sit here and actually start talking about what's good and what's bad when it comes to Devin Larratt Pronation lift, because there's so much controversy behind it. It's not a really clean lift, doesn't matter. He gets up 67 kilograms off the ground, which is, it's a lot of weight. Keep in mind, this is 2 years ago, way before this massive improvement that he's been on. Let's also look at the current world record. I'm sure there's an updated version somewhere, and I could be using the wrong one. But first, Devin's showing it off here. We want to see the Levan. Here we go. So Levan wraps it around his thumb, and boom. It's the same thing though, speaking about Ermes Gasparini lift, where the lift isn't clean. It's not a clean lift. It's very easy for him here. You can see it's pretty easy, but from a perfect mechanical standpoint, it's not the greatest. Regardless, the weight is completely different. You're adding almost 10 kilograms. This is more recent though. So if we click on this, yeah, so this is a year ago. Like I said, if you guys have the updated numbers, please let me know down in the comments below. But this is some crazy, crazy weight. Let's get the other elephant in the room out of the way here. Ermes Gasparini back pressure. 92 kilograms. Here we go. It's crazy, dude. That's a crazy amount of weight. I want to see a replay on that. Here we go. I'm also going to pause this because I am going to hate on this a little bit. Here we go. Let's stop it right here. Okay, cool. Let's do this. So in this here, you can tell, obviously this is back pressure. You can argue to what extent. Looking at this, could definitely be way cleaner, but let's point out a couple things here. One, if it's a world record, super cool, phenomenal. 92 kilograms is it's an immense amount of weight. But look at this. First of all, his hand curled in just like this. He's also on an angle using some side pressure, and the angle, he's not pulling like this straight back. He's pulling from over here. Yeah, pulling outward. So hand would be over here, pulling out this way. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it makes a big difference because 92 kilograms is an immense amount of weight. But you could argue this lift, 92 kilograms, it's just a lot. I just don't know how I feel about the hand being completely cupped in. Now, there's been a lot of talk about how the hand is, but the hand's here, dude. And let's look at Levan's lift. Now, Levan did this lift 2 years ago. Here it says 87, nope, that's a Plinkov. Oh yeah. Levan, 184 pounds, so 83.5. And this is a little bit more higher on the hand. Now with the mechanics of this pulley system, I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, it's a ton of weight, dude. 88 kilograms, and he did it for a couple. And this was 82 from Ermes. But the angle of the pulley system is not the same. Which one do I think is more impressive? It's honestly hard to tell. Maybe Levan's. I know Levan's was a couple years ago. Yeah, this was posted 2 years ago. So I still gotta argue Levan's. You gotta give full credit to Ermes Gasparini, but this match is going to be interesting to say the least. Now, since Levan Saginashvili's last matchup against Ermes Gasparini, Levan has pulled twice at East versus West, and Ermes Gasparini has pulled 4 times, including 1 loss to Devin Larratt. Also having wins over Jerry Catterat, Michael Todd, Vitaly Lalatin. So this is why I truly believe that this time around, Ermes Gasparini has a legitimate chance at beating Levan Saginashvili. Since their first matchup, you have to think that, well, the mentality is a little bit different. When Ermes had fought Levan Saginashvili the first time, it wasn't the same. He was there to test himself against the best in the world. There wasn't this ambition to have to win to prove himself that he is the #1 guy. But after feeling Levan for the first time, after having an absolute war with him and giving Levan the run for his life, I think Ermes knew at that point in time it was time to change the game. Since their last matchup, Ermes Gasparini has leveled up just like Levan, but I truly think that Ermes Gasparini has come a much further way. The lifts are proving that. The back pressure, the riser, the pronation lifts, the mentality, the trash talk, the animosity is there. And Ermes Gasparini has been showing it online. He's been pretty much fired up, ready to roll. He's pissed off, he wants to win, and he wants to prove that he is the #1 guy on the planet. And to be honest with you, I think he's right there. I look at Ermes right now, this guy wants to win. I can just tell by how much he's talking about the matchup and how he truly believes he's gonna take the #1 spot. And honestly, by his lifts, it's looking like that's probably gonna happen. But I bet you guys wanna know, what do I think? Who is actually gonna win this matchup? And here's who I think is gonna win. Put it this way, I was watching part of a podcast with Voice of Arm Wrestling and Devin Larratt, and Devin Larratt said that it's going to be a shutout for Levan. He thinks that Levan's on a completely different level, and you have to respect that because of how dominant Levan has been. But arm bet stakes differ. I recently checked out the betting stakes for Ermes Gasparini and Levan Saginashvili just to see what the odds would be in Ermes Gasparini's favor. And you can't bet on either or. They're fully staked out. So that tells me that there are a lot of people who truly believe that Ermes has a shot, and I'm one of them. If I'm a betting man, I'm betting on Ermes Gasparini to win. Well, my heart wants him to win. The reality is, I think that Levan Saginashvili will win this matchup, but I think it's gonna be this close. This is going to be by far the toughest matchup for Ermes Gasparini, but Levan Saginashvili in many, many years. Now, I can see this matchup going 4-3, 4-2. I don't think this is going to be a walk in the park for Levan, but I do think that if there's one person on the planet right now who can win this, it's Ermes Gasparini. I truly think that Ermes actually has a shot at winning this. It's going to take someone beyond special to beat Levan because of just the genetic freak of who he is as a person, of how he's shown the sport of arm wrestling in the world and how dominant you can be as a champion. And it's pretty cool for arm wrestling in general. So in conclusion, I really do think that this is going to be Levan Saginashvili's closest matchup he's had in a very long time. However, I do think he gets the job done. It's just hard to bet against Levan, man. Levan has proved to us that he is levels above everyone else. But if there's one person who can stop him, I truly, truly believe it's Ermes Gasparini. And Ermes is no joke. His lifts are there, his mentality is there, and he is proving that he is going to be a force to be reckoned with in the future. And obviously right now, but the mentality is different, and there's something special about Ermes right now. And dude, I'm stoked to see this matchup. It's gonna be an absolute banger. So I want you guys to tell me who you think is going to win this matchup. Is it gonna be Levan or Ermes? But I'm gonna drop the video there. If you guys like this type of content, you know what to do. Like the video, consider subscribing. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.